route bases, in a station base, and also for tandem base. And also we discussed a little bit about SMDR, and we started with CCIS. Any question from you, Stanley? Looks like it's very easy something, so no questions at all. Okay. I will try to focus then in this day of the exam. So no questions, it looks easy. Any question again?
I have some question about digital conversion.
Digital conversion.
The example,
Digital conversion in day number 1, right? Day number 1, right? This one maybe, yeah? Which
how
page?
many digit conversion?
Which one? Which page?
Which page? This page 56.
56. This one?
Yes. The program is stripped 4 digits, but the DC is assigned 0290.
This 4 digit.
Yes. So we should skip first 3 digits.
4. It's saying strip 4. We count from left. 1, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 digits. Yeah, 4 digits. Because I want to change that this extension, it's not my extension number. My extension number is 1000. So I want to look in this and make a mapping with this number between my extension.
What is the add for the session number?
This is that.
This is the explain of the second.
Yes.
This just we do this just by CDN 66. Yes.
Yes. And in CDN 66, if you decide the number of digits you are going to strip, you are able to strip. If you make CDN 66 0, you cannot strip and that. If you make it 15, you can, for example, make it a variable number. That means trim what you like. Sometimes you will trim 4 digits, sometimes you will trim 5 digits, 6 digits, it's up to you.
In this example, we should set the CDN 66 to 4.
Yes. Normally, this most of the carrier do as a 4-digit conversion.
In my case, there is no step, even we are doing the same thing.
Your case is SIP, not ISDN, right? We don't talk about SIP yet. Any question? Tomorrow we have
These numbers is divided by right hand side.
95.
But when we are skipping the prefix,
No, not the difference. You change the last 4 digits, which carrier told us you are able to manipulate these digits only. And we say these 4 digits, which 0290, I want to terminate this DID number to my station number, which is 1000.
And how about the other extension? For example, when we assign this configuration to the system. Okay. And the other one, dial, for example, 6460291.
Okay. 291.
Okay. The system with strict first 4 digits, it's 0291.
Okay. Which extension?
And we haven't assigned anything for the DC and CDC for this digit.
This is called invalid DID, which we can solve with action. I want to
And
terminate.
it's just this command will be effect just on one station.
Yes. Yes. But if you don't have, for example, this is a valid DID in your ISDN layer, and you don't assign anything here. You have either to give busy2 that you are calling someone who's not assigned, or you can reroute the call to ECT operator.
For example, if someone dialed 616 1001, it's okay to go and dial to extension one dial.
This is also important to examine. This is what we was talking about the screen. Carrier will give you a range from 1000 to 1900. You have 900 stations. And
Station.
Your station number is 1000 till 1900. What you need to do in ACD is you say, I will add 1 as a DC, 1 as a DC, and I will convert it to any number with 1. So I don't need to add here at. I don't have to add a wildcard condition, just my leading digit of my 4-digit to this cell will be enough. So if I receive a dial of 1000, immediately the system will convert it to 1000. If I receive a dial of 1900, it will convert me to 1900. You here conclude 900 record with a single record. If the carrier already matched with your number line. In the Middle East, it's very rare that the carrier will really take care about you up to this level. But in Europe, they did. Is it clear? And don't forget that it's also affecting your outgoing. This matching will affect your outgoing call. That means you are extension 1000. Every time you call from 1000, it will show this number. Any question? Any question again? Tomorrow we have an exam. You know that. And it's much more serious than the administration course.
Which time the exam will be?
Tomorrow I will be late in the morning because I have to go to this embassy. Maybe around 9:30 I will be here. We have 2 subjects tomorrow, and after lunch we'll do the exam. So at least it's Thursday, so you can leave early. Otherwise, you can give more time to study and discuss, and then you can do it. Up to you.
I'm with the second choice.
Up to you. You will discuss with each other, and I will agree. Okay. We are talking now about the SIP trunking. Any question before the SIP trunking? Any question before we start with the SIP trunking?
Question. The main problem with the MGC is connecting from MGC to multiple carriers.
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. This is a native behavior and it's a good behavior. I will show you why. I'll show you why.
It means the carrier, for example, now in some projects, they are trying to connect different PBXs, not using QC, using SIP trunk.
Yes.
For example, they want to have 64 channels with one PBX, 64 channels, second PBX.
Yes.
In this way, you should put 2 different MGCs.
That's correct. That's completely correct.
And just add the price.
You can solve it with many other ways. Nikki have the same requirement to connect MobiCall and iCall message system and 2 carrier. They say that this is really bias the project, that we cannot get the project because we have to order 4 128. You can still order the 16 channel. You can still order the 16 channel if you like. 16 channel is fair enough, right? Yes.
For example,
Yeah. But 16 channel also have a limitation in the feature. You can go for virtual machine and you can buy the list of licenses that you like. If you already have a server. In this kind of installation, I don't think so you will provide the machine or provide a server without number of application like 1,000. You can do it with a virtual.
it's better to use in this scenario virtual machines.
In this scenario, I think it's better to use SPC. This is the right way. Because with this kind of standard SIP network, the customer requirements also a little bit strict. They want, first of all, to have a flat and easy method to connect with everything, all a security practice, which is quite impossible. 95 can protect itself and it's have a native protection feature. But I notice in 3 projects, especially Edna, we come to a point that they want to connect with the Skype for business. And we could release for them mostly MGSAP with TCP module. Because the problem with Skype there for business, especially Microsoft, they are up to level that they say you have to follow my rule. I will not follow anyone. All the SIP messaging for other vendor are only in UDP. Only in UDP. Microsoft come with the idea with TCP, which is a little bit illogical in the SIP world, unless you are inside the same intranet. So we have to fulfill with their requirement to have a TCP. And we did. They come to a point that they say, I can see your domain name. Okay, what I can do? This is a security threat. Okay, I can mask my domain. I can set anonymous domain. It's okay. I set anonymous domain. After a few weeks, they say, well, we need the reference signal. Reference signal is there. The format of our reference signal is not matching with them. We are only complying with this RFC 3261, which is the exact RFC for SIP. They have their own SIP and they want us to comply with their own SIP. I cannot change the box name and make it Microsoft. It's an NEC system. So the only solution was them to put SPC. From security practice and also from protocol mismatch issues. Normally, if we have this is a problem in Europe, basically. Not with 95, with all other things. But you have your behaviors, and you have your SIP trunk interface, and your SIP trunk interface connected to one router. It's not SPC, it's not the modem. You have to connect for the carrier SIP server here. And you have to go with the risk of putting all of your information in the camera. So we normally, if we want to certify a carrier, we will put SPC.
If we use SPC, is it possible to divide the channel of the
Yes, for sure. For sure. Because what the functionality of SPC?
Session control.
Yes, session board controller, which is exactly doing translation for each and different language. It has ISDN interface, FXS, FXO, even. If my packet here in NEC is, I will give just an example, it's not SPC. My packet will be only with G711 as an example, with ALO, and my payload size is only 40. And I'm sending my packet with RTB, and I'm only supported in band DTMF. Okay, this is my format, and my carrier only accepting G729, and they want SRTB, and they only accept out of band DTMF. How to match? I can modify this in 95. But what about this? They cannot. Also, maybe the way that I convince them in this way, it's not really compatible. In 95, especially in the advanced world, you will see a lot of quality of service and enhancement that you don't expect from a telephone server. We did. But how to match completely this? Let's say they have a TLS. We have a TLS, but maybe their TLS is only working with the public certificate, and we have self-signed certificate. How to match? SPC is matching anyone with anyone. That's the main purpose of using SPC. And if the customer is really happy and he wants to do everything, he may have to be about bare session. The customer in the beginning, he will be happy, yeah, I want everything. Okay, give me money, I will make everything. They will start with the minimum requirement. But once it's come to it, they will come out of questions. We'll talk about this later.
In this case, we are asking the 64 channel SIP truck, right?
Yeah.
How is enough for the 16 channel SIP? That means SIP 16?
Can add more to the 16.
Example, if I am using the 128 SIP card, first time I receive the 30 channel, okay? I want to increase the same 30 channel carrier to 64 something.
Okay.
no need to change any hardware.
No, 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 you can
Up to
simply,
20, 128 channel. If more than that, we need to take one device.
and also you can share two devices in one root. I will talk about,
Could we shut them down during?
you have to do MemHDD,
Just take the backup and
MemHDD and the
delete.
switch off first. That's all.
Take one backup also.
Can we have one SIP with multiple carrier?
One SIP trunk with multiple carrier, no. It's a clear answer, and this, where Bush legacy Japan do it like this. Whereas V91, as V93, yes, it's possible. But the people, all the time, if they have 93 or 91, they have to provide a router. Because the same SIP trunk, the same VoIP resources, can be connected to multiple destinations. So I need the VoIP card for my local IP telephony, I need it for my NetLink or whatever, and then at the same time I need it for a carrier. So I have to put a router in between. With 95, it's have LAN 1 and LAN 2. LAN 1 is only dedicated for the internal communication of 95. LAN 2 is only dedicated for the carrier. You can share together, but the best practice with the carrier to have two LAN. That means my network is isolated from the carrier. And this is the basic security practice. This is the minimum security practice. And each and every carrier, my understanding, they have their own profiles. If you are the same country, multiple carriers, it's really difficult to fulfill them with a single profile. I will show you later an example. I already did it and it's all fine. But again, it's not supported, and NBC Japan say don't do it. If you have a real customer multiple carrier, go for this.
In this case, we have LAN 1, LAN 2 in my CPU. SIP carrier is connected to the LAN
No.
1, LAN 1.
No. MDSIP itself have two LAN.
Yeah. Card have itself two LAN.
Yeah.
One is
LAN 1
connected.
will connect to LAN 1 of the system.
System.
LAN 2 will connect to the carrier.
30 or 130?
In my case, in CPU connected to the
LAN 1.
30 or 130? Which one? The LAN 2 is this. Again, you see? 30 or 130?
Okay. We have two versions of media converter for SIP. One is 16 and one is 20. And mainly it's used for SIP-trunk resources. SIP-trunk supports standard RFC. We don't support anything out of the RFC, by the way, because it's simply standard SIP. And this is the RFC. If you go for the handbook of ITU, you'll find this RFC. Since V2, we have a software-based model. That means you can implement your SIP-trunk as a virtual machine. And this started from version 2. To communicate with outside world, you can have hardware based with 16 and 28, or we can go with software based module with 2, 4, 5, 4 channels per virtual machine. So you have three options. In the old days, we have 16, 96, 128, and 254 for special project. We killed the 96 because most of the carrier requirement in Europe to go with 128. 128 and 16 and 254 with a virtual machine. And MBH and MGSIP is controlled by a protocol called internal BHI. Remember yesterday we assigned internal BHC. And for IP phone we need internal BHE and MBH. If we have a SIP handler, we need a protocol handler called SIP handler. Now this one, MGSIP, requires this protocol handler. MPSIP support voice, fax, video, DTMF, push button signaling. But also, it's not supporting unrestricted digital information. That means you cannot send a data without packetization. Meaning, if your data is not labeled with the domain name, I cannot allow it. And this is the basic security practice in 95 MGSIP. And here, you can see the codec that we support with SV95MG SIP. T38 is only supported with version 4. Version 2, 985, we don't support T38 on the MG SIP. And the 16 does not support MG SIP. 16 does not support the T38. Only the 128 which support T38 for fax. There is two modules this is also important, we have two models of MG set. I mean the box type or the virtual machine type. We have one which we normally use for BSTN. That means if I want to connect with GrandStream, if I want to connect with Alcatel, I need to use the BSTN version. If I want to call it the Salat, if I want to connect to STC, if I want to connect to any carrier, I have to use the BSTN version. Type is only used to connect 95 to 95. 95 with 95 only. That's version, specific version is used for to connect 95 to 95. Now, tell me.
This version is where which version you are talking about? Firmware, sir.
I'm talking about two versions of the one. The one that I used to connect to STC, to GrandStream system, to
Firmware
Aster.
version of the MGC.
Yes, the firmware version of the MG set, the box type. This 4098, 89, it's the one that we use, and this only supported single carrier. That means each box with this version, you can connect with a one destination. Now, Thai version is only used to connect 95 to 95. And this version, which is 95 to 95, support multiple carrier. That means I can connect multiple 95 with a single MG set.
Why we are connecting 95 to 95? As I said,
This is also important question. This is one of the requirements was for Mitsuo project. They started with the CCIS, but for some security analysis, they say we don't like CCIS. We agree to lose all of the feature of CCIS, and we need a standard of network of cell in order to sniff this information.
The requirement, customer requirement.
Because customer requirement. And Mitsui order 1,000 MG cell for multiple node in the world. That's why we come with this type. For them, they have the RIT kernel and they have a flat design and they don't want to have any proprietary protocol because they cannot sniff. We have two choices. Either we can give them the secrets of CCIS or we have to come up with a version of type. Now, again, this was a mistake of design on one project in Oman, Usama cell system for royal courts. And they have 16 different type systems. 16 different systems. And they want to collect all of them in a CCIS, in set one. So Osama deliver one. He can connect one destination.
Okay, the second one, it is 9595.
But they have different 16 vendor.
So, what we have to sell them?
16 MGC.
16 episode.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the accurate message that I'm trying to deliver. From day one, I say this is a BSM version for single carrier. And this is a native behavior, and this is important behavior for MGC. This only for 95 to 95
And with multiple.
with multiple carrier.
Multiple.
You can connect up to, I think, 60 or 32 to 5.
And we can manipulate the routes of the carrier
In which version?
down the tie line. Because
It's not-
the receipt is one.
But this cannot be used for a carrier.
You're saying with multiple carrier.
But this is only for 95. 95 to 95.
Even
I have 295, I'm connected to the
I have
single.
4. So
4,
495.
you can connect with a single one.
So how can I differentiate it?
This
Go
is-
here and here.
Exactly. There is a table of analysis inside.
Oh.
The MG set, this MG set for this. I say it's a completely different version. Yeah. For the BSM version, it's meant to connect between BSTN, SIP provider, and also other vendor like Cisco, Alcatel, Avaya. And it's a one-to-one relation. I can connect one MG set with a single carrier. Most of the requirement that we receive, the customer requirement won't go more than, for example, 500 channel toward a single carrier. More than 500 channels toward one carrier. So you can supply multiple MG set with one route. It's also possible.
One route.
Multiple MG set with one route
One route.
for the same carrier with the same
Yeah.
destination. And one MG set route can be shared by multiple MG set. And it can go up to 8 devices. That means in the ISDN, I could have 2 cards in a shared route. Here again, I can have multiple MG SIP with a one route. It's also possible.
So for this vendor who has 15 location, can we use here one MG SIP? For example, for 2 locations, we will divide them by 64,
I don't
64
understand the
channels.
question. Really.
By
I
60.
don't understand the question. Really.
One MG SIP, it's 128.
Okay.
Can I divide in for 2 routes,
Okay.
for 2 destination locations?
No. That's what I was saying. It's a 1-to-1 relation.
No.
The answer clear. No. And it's a related behavior, and it's an important behavior with 95. Once we discuss the item one by one, you understand why this. But basically, the answer is clear. I have 2 carrier, 128. This route number 1 and this route number 2. I will have a simple profile and simple profile. There is a chance that NEC Japan will come with a version that can support up to 4 carrier. In my opinion, this is a wrong decision. I will tell you that why later. But at least
some size like PSDN, it has 48 location. They are connected with. Imagine when you put 48,
48
for example,
destination.
PRI, yeah,
to 48 destination SIP,
48,
Destination.
SIP or PRI or QSIP.
there is a completely different behavior.
With
Completely
the QSIP, can we divide, can we put, or there is...
With the QSIG, it's a one-to-one relationship, right?
Mm.
That means I cannot divide a single QSIG line to 2 destinations, right? Because it's a one-to-one relationship. The answer with ISDN is completely different than SIP. Because here, if it's a QSIG, each and every node will have its own card. I can have multiple ISDN cards toward one destination, right? And it's again going to one relation with SIP. If you have this kind of customer, you must have SPC. You must have SPC. You cannot go even with a single 128. You have to even design it carefully, because this kind of system over a simple trunk network, it's very risky. The customer will not accept to have any security threat because I want just to convince the number of media converter. We have a lot of network which is with 48 or more SIP provider or SIP systems. And we all the time sell it with SPC. Even if you go for the real implementation for any UC solution, you cannot sell a UC solution with SIP trunking without SPC. For example, Asterix, inside the board, they have SPC. Cisco now, inside the board, they have SPC. Just a simple flat simple trunk with this RFC, it's not secure at all. Clear?
Yeah, yesterday Dinal asked you that the port and E1 can have the same route. You
Yes.
said no. But now when the
Again, Abdullah.
the COT and E1 can have same route.
No.
And now there is 2 routes, two SIP trunks, and you are saying that you can have one route.
This is important, Abdullah. My question to my answer to Dinar, if I have 2 COT cards, can I have it in the same route? The answer is yes. If I have 2 BRI, I can have the same route. If I have 2 MG SIP, I can have it in the same route. But I cannot mix up both together. This is the idea. I cannot mix up COT and E1 in the same route. But I can have a COT and COT cards in the same route. I can have 2 E1 because the characteristics of the roof completely different. But here, the characteristics are the same.
But the route characteristics are the same for all.
No, the parameter is different.
If you are giving the length, so it will reject, right? Those route number.
Yes.
The
The
already
parameter-
assigned. We
Yeah.
can see the already assigned, right?
Yeah.
You cannot.
The characteristics is
Duplicate.
different. The command use RTDN, that's correct. But the root inside, I cannot say that CCIS and E1 have the same characteristics.
So E1 doesn't have the same, but you send the signal out from the SV95 from the right is same.
No,
It's different. No?
completely different. Each and every kind of car can be for the same destination, can be in the same route. But here, I cannot mix up COT with E1. I cannot mix up COT with MGSIP. But I can overflow for them. I can reroute the call there with a different route number. Clear?
Yeah, question. Sorry for disturbing. You told me version 4 it support T38, right?
Yes.
If I am using that fax machine scenario, this analog card, its support is the T38.
Later on, we'll talk about it. Because in the part of the advanced core, talking about T38 implementation, not now. Clear?
Yes.
Any other question?